There we go. Hello, everybody. Good day. My name is Hanif Brown, and welcome to Mastermind number 81. It is April 29th. The month of April is almost done. It's sunny here today. Actually, a little bit cloudy, but we're grateful for exactly how the weather is. So, for those of you who are joining us, this is Mastermind number 81. For the past 81 weeks, we've been meeting, going over personal development, growth, real estate, cryptocurrency, and investing. And this week we are talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad, getting started, teach, and you shall receive, and the power of giving. That's with regards to personal development and understanding better about your finances. Then in the real estate world, we're looking at the ABCs of real estate. This week we are talking about wholesaling. What exactly is wholesaling? In the cryptocurrency world, we're looking at what exactly is a white paper. Is it just some white piece of paper? Uh, that was probably a bad joke. But anyway, it's not just a white piece of paper. So we're going to talk about that. Anyway, you'll hear a lot more of my boring jokes here throughout as you go out. And so let's jump right into it. As a disclaimer, people, I'm not a licensed financial advisor, not an accountant, not a CPA, not a lawyer. And so the content here is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. So consult a licensed professional before making the decisions it is that you would like to make with doing the things that you would like to do. And so this meeting was inspired by Think and Grow Rich, talking about what exactly is some of the benefits of a mastermind group, as Napoleon Hill so aptly described in his book Think and Grow Rich, written actually, yeah, over 100 years ago in terms of the first edition, or close to 100 years. So let's jump right into it. With real estate, we're talking about wholesaling, but what we're going to start with today is actually Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Again, what exactly are the rich teaching their kids about money that the poor and the middle class do not? So let's see what we are looking at here. And so let's scroll down, let's scroll down. So again, we went over so far why the rich do not work for money. Why exactly teach financial literacy? Minding your own business, the history of taxes and the power of corporations. Do not work in for money. Overcoming obstacles, getting started. And that's the chapter that we're on. We're on the chapter on getting started. And we've been going over different steps in terms of how exactly to go ahead and get started. So let's see where it is that we are now. And we're on teach and you shall receive and the power of giving. So teach and you shall receive and the power of giving. Both of my dads were teachers. My rich dad taught me a lesson I've carried all my life, the necessity of being charitable or giving. My educated dad gave a lot of his time and knowledge, but almost never gave away money. He usually said that he would give when he had some extra money, but of course there was rarely any extra. My rich dad gave money as well as education. He believed firmly in tithing. If you want something, you first need to give. He would always say, when he was short of money, he gave money to his church or to his favorite charity. If I could leave one single idea with you, it's that idea. Whenever you feel short or in need of something, give what you want first and it will come back in buckets. That's true. That's true for money, a smile, love, or friendship. I know it's often the last thing a person may want to do, but it has always worked for me. I trust that the principle of reciprocity is true, and I give what I want. I want money, so I give money, and it comes back in multiples. I want sales, so I help someone else sell something, and sales come to me. I want contacts, and I help someone else get contacts. Like magic, contacts come to me. I heard a saying years ago that went, God does not need to receive, but humans need to give. My rich dad would often say, poor people are more greedy than rich people. He would explain that if a person was rich, that person was providing something that other people wanted. In my life, whenever I felt needy or short of money or short of help, I simply went out or found in my heart what I wanted and decided to give it first. And when I gave, it always came back. It's an energy thing here, people. It reminds me of the story of the guy sitting with firewood in his arms on a cold, freezing night. He's yelling at the pot bellied stove. When you give me some heat, then I'll put some wood in you. And when it comes to money, love, happiness, sales, and contacts, all one needs to remember is to give first. Often, just the process of thinking of what I want and how I could give that to someone else breaks free a torrent of bounty. Whenever I feel that people aren't smiling at me, I simply begin smiling and saying hello. Like magic, the next thing I know, I'm surrounded by smiling people. It's true that your world is only a mirror of you. So that's why I say, teach and you shall receive. I found that the more I teach those who want to learn, the more I learn. If you want to learn about money, teach it to someone else. A torrent of new ideas and finer distinctions will come in. There are times when I have given and nothing has come back, or what I have received is not what I wanted. But upon closer inspection and soul searching, I was often giving to receive in those instances, instead of giving for the joy that giving itself brings. My dad taught teachers, and he became a master teacher. My rich dad always taught young people his way of doing business. In retrospect, it was their generosity with what they knew that made them smarter. There are powers in this world that are much smarter than we are. You can get there on your own, but it's easier with the help of the powers that be. Understand the laws of the universe. You only need to be generous with what you have. And that concludes our chapter on getting started. So we're concluding there in talking about not choosing heroes and the power of myth, but oh wait, teach. Oh yeah, yeah. Teach and you shall receive, and the power of giving. Teach and you shall receive, and the power of giving. So what exactly really is Kiyosaki talking about here? Like, is this guy crazy? He's saying that if I want to get something, I should go out there and find some need, and I should give more. How on earth am I gonna get more when it is that I'm giving, 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 right? And so this is aptly described and talked about and explained right here in this basic line. You can get there on your own, but it's easier with the help of the powers that be. You only need to be generous with what you have. And what are the powers that be, one may say? The laws of the universe. And one of these laws is, as you learn on your journey, the law of attraction. What exactly is the law of attraction? How exactly does it work? And you learn a lot more about that. I would strongly suggest anybody watching the movie The Secret to learn a lot more about the law of attraction, talking about and research more about who exactly Bob Proctor is and paradigms and more. 3 years ago, I started out on a journey, and I remember when I started applying this law to my life in so many different ways. And 3 years on, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And I would have never thought that that was the solution. And every single day, I'm utilizing it. And so it's fantastic. It's so fantastic. So Kiyosaki is talking about his two dads. His poor dad, which is his biological dad, was a teacher, formal teacher, and he never gave. Only when maybe, he said, if I had some extra, I would give. But his rich dad always gave, always gave. And that's why he says, if I could give you a single idea, whatever you feel short or in need of something, give what you want first, and it will come back in buckets. It will come back in buckets. But the key thing he also mentioned is that don't give with the expectation of receiving something. Give because you want to give. It always ends up coming back, right? We're naturally, in some way as selfish creatures as human beings. And so sometimes we maybe aren't able to help in terms of doing that. But Kiyosaki saying control that. Go ahead and give and give and give. You'll find the way it is that you're able to receive, and the way it is that you'll see a lot of different things start happening once it is that you just start giving, 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 you know? So, and he uses different situations like that to talk about his own situation. And so that's what it is that we're looking at there. So, in summary, teach and you shall receive, the power of giving. And that's something that's kind of unconventional. Most people would think that, so I want something, but I'm supposed to give in order to get it. Yeah, that's kind of what it's saying to you, you know? But don't give with the expectation of receiving. Give because you really want to give. I have so many instances in my life in terms of how I can see how that was so applicable and how actually my thinking was different before. And then once I started applying this to my life and the concepts that I learned, because it's all great and nice to read books, but when you start applying different things to your life, you'll see some crazy stuff. You'll see some small evidences before, take them for what they are, and they'll just multiply from that. So let's pause there. And today we're going over wholesaling in real estate. So, what exactly is wholesaling and wholesaling in real estate? You're probably like, what do you mean wholesaling? What exactly is that thing? Isn't a wholesale somewhere you go and buy things? Well, wholesaling is one of those strategies in real estate. How does it work? Examples and strategies. Investing in real estate is nothing like investing in stocks and bonds. With the latter two, depending on the type of investment, you may be able to dive right in with perhaps as little as $100. You can exit whenever you wish. It's not that easy when you're dealing with real estate. In fact, real estate transactions can be tricky to navigate and they often come with a hefty price tag. What's more, it takes time to buy and sell homes. First, there's the issue of the down payment. You also need financing for what your down payment doesn't cover. You must fill out all kinds of paperwork. Then there's the closing, not to mention the time required to deal with tenants and collect rent. If you really want to invest in real estate but can't bear the thought, all the money involved and going through the purchase process, you got options. Wholesaling real estate is one of them. It's a legal strategy concerning the purchase of real estate that you don't commit to buying yourself or make a down payment on. So, and check your laws. This may be outlawed in some places, for example, for different situations. For example, in New Brunswick, Canada, check in terms of if that's allowed or not. So, in real estate wholesaling, the person that's called a wholesaler puts a seller's home under contract and then finds an interested investor to buy it. So let's say it is that there's this property being sold and they want to sell the property. I go ahead and I get that property under contract, get an offer and say offer to, and I'm not saying that I do this, I'm just using as an example. Let's say actually let's use Paul. Paul goes ahead, gets the property under contract, um, goes ahead and signs a purchase and sale agreement, does all the due diligence before and says that I'm going to acquire this property. But Paul actually doesn't plan on closing that property. Paul knows XYZ person who's looking for a certain kind of property. And then they find an interested investor to go ahead and buy that property. So Paul gets a property under contract, but he's not the one that's buying it. He goes ahead and finds an interested buyer to buy it. And obviously, he gets compensated accordingly. So everybody wins there. The wholesaler assigns their rights in the contract to the buyer at a higher price than the price contracted with the seller and keeps the difference. So, for example, sometimes you'll find wholesaling fees to be different. $10,000 is kind of standard in that, plus HST, obviously. And so you'll see where, let's say, a property is for, $250,000, say $500,000. You go ahead and you get that property under contract for $500,000. But what's actually happening is that when you go ahead and you are telling the person that's buying it, you're telling them it's for $510,000 because you're including the wholesale fee there. So real estate wholesalers generally deal in distressed properties. They take on the role of middlemen to match investors or buyers with sellers. Unlike flipping real estate wholesaler doesn't make any renovations and carries no cost. No cost. So that's what you're looking at. So it's a short-term business strategy that investors can use to make quick and steady income in the real estate market. So you're not buying, you're not selling. However, you're finding the right kind of deal and you're finding an interested buyer that wants to go ahead and acquire that deal. All right. So it talks about how to locate, conducting your research, locating a distressed property. Do the math and the due diligence, right? That's a big part of it. You need to understand the numbers and you need to know that the deal makes sense for the person that is going to be the buyer. Contact the seller. Go ahead and let the seller know that, hey, this is what I'm looking at doing. Really and truly, when most times The seller just wants to sell their property. Not all the times they want to send to everybody. When you go in and you find a cash buyer, reassign the contract to the buyer. And there are obviously pros and cons associated with wholesaling in real estate. So that's what you're looking at there. I'm going to pause there for now and we're going to go over. So that's one strategy in real estate. And you always have this in terms of as an exit strategy with a property. And you can see many examples right there. So let's look at a little bit of the real estate news here in Canada. So that's what wholesaling is. This week's top stories in Canadian real estate. Canada goes into crisis mode with mortgages and anti-laundering systems down. Wow, man. Every week you come on here, there's less like something not positive going on, right? It's not that our better dwelling is just like out and sharing all of the bad news. But look, this is the reality. It's great investing in real estate, but it's key to understand moments in the market. Canada has warned directly funding its mortgage. So first one, Canadian mortgage changes blur the line between normal and crisis. And that's from CMHC, Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. Second, so that doesn't sound so good. Blurring the line between normal and crisis. So are we at a new normal? Is the crisis the new normal, or like what are we looking at here? Canadian anti-money laundering reporting system still down post-hack. So they were down last week after the hack, and they're still down. The system is still down. That does not spell well for investors that are here and investors that are looking at investing in the country. Ontario, BC, and Nova Scotia real estate prices have corrected the most. So Ontario, BC, two of the hottest, well, two of the two hottest markets in Canada, and Nova Scotia, that's in the maritime. So that one is interesting as we see, different things happening with interest rates and prices here. So the benchmark price of a typical home across Canada was 855,800, skewed a lot by the prices in Ontario and BC in March. So down 14% now, minus 126,000 from the peak 2 years prior when the real estate market was hot. So we're seeing a correction. Significant price drops have only been observed in a few provinces, though. The three biggest drops being in Ontario, minus 17%, BC, minus 9%, and Nova Scotia, minus 6%. A lot of people move from other places to Nova Scotia. You would probably get the city kind of feel. However, and it was not as expensive as BC or Ontario, but you kind of get the best of both worlds there in this different situations. So that's from 2 years ago. Toronto mortgage delinquency rate surges 71% higher. What? Toronto, Canada's largest real estate market, has seen a sharp uptick in mortgage delinquencies. Toronto CMA saw its delinquency rate climb to 0.12% in Q4 2024, the highest level since 2016. While the rate itself may not present much of a concern, the sudden 71% jump in the share of delinquent mortgages over a year might be. It's a common problem observed after large investor booms, which we had a few years ago, within 2 years ago or so. The most notable example being the US housing bubble. That's not something you ever want to hear. But trend is matching up to that, and we're talking. That's actually hasn't been the first metric that we're seeing that is being related to the U.S. housing bubble from back in 2000 when the financial crisis happened in 2008. Canadian government borrowed the most from bond market since 2021. The government is borrowing money, and it's the most since 2021 that it's borrowed. So what are we seeing here, right? It's important just from a top-down kind of thing. Canadian mortgage changes blur the line. So CMHC is saying that the mortgage changes are blurring the line between, what's normal and what's the crisis here, like what's going on here. That doesn't sound good in terms of from a mortgage standpoint. And overall, if we're talking about, what's the crisis and the normal, and we're blurring the lines here, then, what really is going on? Canada's economy is heavily concentrated from an investment standpoint in real estate, right? And so that's not a good thing. It is that we're seeing Canadian anti-money laundering reporting system still down. So anti-money laundering systems are still down post-hack. So there was a hack. The security of system doesn't seem so good. Um, because I mean, if it's still down after a hack, then you know what do you have going on? We're seeing price correction, so we're seeing breaching security systems. We're seeing prices are correcting. We're seeing the mortgage delinquency rates surging higher, and we're seeing where the government is borrowing money. The writing is on the wall. You're not dreaming. This is exactly what is happening. It's key to understand different times in the market in terms of what's going on and really call a spade a spade. You know, it's always a good time to get into a right opportunity, but it's also can be a bad time. There are always great opportunities out there, but one must have the eye trained in terms of spotting them. So are there opportunities out there in the real estate market? 100%. Definitely. As a matter of fact, more opportunities are probably likely being created right now because you know it's unfortunate that we're looking at some persons are being delinquent on their mortgages. But if that's the case, then I mean it means that there are a lot more people that are not able to pay, and that's very sad. That's not fun. That's not a fun thing to do. But on the other end, you know, there are people that are able to create the solutions for them in terms of helping them out. And maybe, you know, people go through times and moments, and if they need to sell their home, then you may find somebody who is a distressed seller that they really need to sell. So, you know, that's an example of one. And there's a lot more movement now. If we're seeing, you know, you're seeing very big price differences, -6, -9, -17 percentage drops, right? Like you'd almost think you're looking at the crypto market on a week. Like, when did real estate get here? So we're looking at that. So um we're looking at that, and that's that for real estate here today. So I need to finish within the next few minutes. So we're looking at the cryptocurrency market now, and let's see what we're looking at. So talked about rich dad, poor dad being kind of giver, real estate. We talked about wholesaling, news Canadian real estate, percentage differences, price drops from a few years ago to now, mostly in BC, Ontario, and Nova Scotia. Security breach in terms of anti-money laundering systems. Government is borrowing a lot of money from the bond market. And you're seeing where CMHC is saying, you know, you guys are blurring the line here in terms of what's normal and what's crisis. Right? That's not good. So Bitcoin is down 5% in the last 7 days. Ethereum, not much movement. Solana is down 12%. In the market itself, we're looking at $2.3 trillion, right? 53% is in Bitcoin, 16% is in Ethereum, and the rest are in altcoins. So we're seeing, let's just do a brief overview. So we're seeing where the market is mostly red. Last week we were looking at where it was mostly green. The week after the Bitcoin halving, people got excited. People did a lot of crazy stuff, lots of movement, and we saw mostly green. This week we're seeing mostly red, as expected. It's the week after the halving, well, 2 weeks after the halving. So that halving excitement has kind of died down. And so you're seeing a lot more people are neutral, right? And so that will be reflected in terms of where the market is in red as opposed to being in green. So from an educational standpoint, we're talking about what exactly a white paper is. So a white paper is a document released by a crypto project that gives investors technical information about its concept and a roadmap for how it plans to grow and succeed. So you're getting involved in a project, but what is it? You know, there look how many cryptocurrencies there are. There are 2 point how many? 2.2 million, over 2 million, 2 point over 2.4 million. You know, why are you investing in a project? What's the roadmap? What's the plan for it? And how is it gonna grow and succeed? And projects fair, you know, go through these different phases. So a cryptocurrency white paper is a comprehensive document outlining the technical and economic aspects of a specific cryptocurrency. It's typically written by the cryptocurrency's development team, aka the dev team, or core members, and serve as a guide for potential investors, miners, and users. So there's also a difference here between white papers and light papers. So really, you could almost call it like the business plan of the cryptocurrency and the project itself, right? Again, all cryptocurrencies, they're businesses, right? They're businesses. And so the white paper is a per se that business plan as to what the plan is and everything. And obviously, one of the most famous cryptocurrency white papers is undoubtedly Bitcoin, uh, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system which was published by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008. The Bitcoin white paper proposed the following: peer-to-peer system for payments, removing third parties, irreversible transactions, peer-to-peer distributed timestamp server. So still don't know who exactly Satoshi Nakamoto is. Well, I per se, we don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. Reported that it is a group, and there are many other people, maybe like Craig Wright, who say that they are Satoshi Nakamoto. So let's actually see white paper, Bitcoin. For anybody who doesn't fully understand cryptocurrency, strongly suggest that you check it. Let me not say I strongly suggest. It is key that you look at the Bitcoin white paper. This outlines how exactly cryptocurrency was born, really. Well, what may cause it to become mainstream, and what exactly Bitcoin is. And just as a peer-to-peer electronic system, you're like, really? Isn't it just some kind of thing where it's like you know, digital money thing, and it price goes up and it goes crazy and goes down crazy. No, actually, the price is just a reflection of the market. Who's buying, who's selling, where's the money going, what's the sentiment? That's just a reflection. This is the true core and technology at the core of it. Talking about what exactly this Bitcoin white paper is. So a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash that would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another. So you can Google Bitcoin white paper online, learn exactly what it's all about, and that's what we're looking at there for the white paper. So let's go over the market now briefly. Bitcoin's down 5%, Solana is down 12%. Lots of different things down 8 to 12%. XRP, Dodge, Toncoin, Cardano. Tron is still up 6%. ICP is down. See, everything's red. Everything's red. H bar is up 13%. That's different. Stocks is down 19. That's the biggest loser so far. Let's see what else. Bit and is down 20%. Good thing I sold when I sold. Down 20%. Um, da da da. Core is down 23%. Not surprised. No, it's been breaking lots of different records so far. It was a matter of time. Bank. Bank is up 24%. Wow. Outlier. Big outlier. Not only is it up and in the green, but it's 24%. It's the biggest winner by a milestone so far. All right, this is a meme coin again. Wow, 24%. Solana ecosystem must be booming. What Solana is down 12%. Wormhole is up 5%. Multiverse X is down 10%. Let's keep on scrolling. Helium. Wow. And this isn't even a meme coin. I need to see what happened to cause this dramatic price increase. So up 47%. Helium. So Helium is actually the biggest winner so far, followed by Bank. So Helium is up that amount. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Normally, you'll find some significant event happening with a project. That's really not normal for in a down market, everything's red. And Helium, it's not even a meme coin, is up 46%. There's something going on there. Golem is up 22%. Fantastic. Um, ETH5 broke into the top 200, up 7%. Well, I mean, it previously broke into the top 200, but it's up right now. So we need to look at GuildFi up 7%. Binary X is up 17. There we go. Okay, looks like we have our winner. So let me just look at that. Helium cryptocurrency. Let's see what the news is. There has to be some newsworthy event that helium charges. Da, da, da. Okay, so here we see people are writing about it. So let's see. Let's check out this one. Let's use bitcoin.com. So this is the last thing I'm gonna go for. Da da da. 15% increase on April 29th. 7-day period while the meme token bunk. So H bar saw 12% increase. Da, da, da. Why is helium up so much? Helium, crypto, why is it up? Yeah, there must be something. Oh, I'll just do this. Actually, no, I need to do this on my own. For those of you who may want be wondering what I'm doing, when you go on Coin Market Cap, you can kill us in time here. I'll just do it. Oh, kill me. Um, Probably shouldn't say those words on it. So let's see. Let's see what am I doing here? 46%. That's what I'm looking for. So if you actually utilize CoinMarketCap as a tool and not just look at it right there, you can go ahead and do this actually. So if you click on the cryptocurrency, it will bring up its page, and then you'll be able to scroll down. Holding date, huh? And then you're able to see helium news. And this news will tell you, what exactly has been going on. See the 25% power muted out, HNT, Solana based deep in helium token HNT pumps, next evolutionary narrative. So this article would probably do this article will probably do justice as to explaining why exactly it has pumped so much, as you can see here. So um that's how you would find or what exactly is going on there in terms of that price increase. So how has it progressed so far and more and why? So there we go. And it's explaining a lot of it right here. So I'll pause there for now. That's that here for this week, people. That's Mastermind number 81. Next week, WX. We're at the letter X. What am I going to go over with X? So let's summarize what we went over today. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, we talked about teach and you shall receive the power of giving. So give, and give some more. You want something? Give. Do not give with the intention of getting though, as that's a whole other situation that you're looking at. So we're on to our next chapter in Rich Dad Poor Dad now. And real estate, we talked about wholesaling, not positive things there in terms of the news. However, we're seeing volatility and we're seeing lightning to 2008, right? At the end of something like that happening, there were people that made a lot of money and people who were left in quite a lot of distress. And cryptocurrency, we talked about Bitcoin white paper, what exactly that is. Read it, understand what it is, what it's saying. And we're seeing where helium was our big winner there in terms of crypto. And second, we had Bank. Yeah, Bank, that was the second biggest winner on the 7-day period. So that's that for now, everybody. I'm gonna stop the recording and be off the live. I'll be on Facebook, I'll be on Zoom for Q&A, and that's that. So see you again next week, everybody.